and welcome back to Yoshi's Woolly World on the Nintendo Wii U. I am one with sheep yet again, and today we are gonna start terrorizing the Boo community. We are gonna make those ghosts pay for existing. Well, not really, but we are gonna actually be meeting up with Boos, which are a staple enemy type in the Super Mario Bros. Franchise, and basically they are gonna stop. Well, you look at them, they stop moving. You look away, they start running towards you. They are basically really shy, evil ghosts that you need to manipulate in order to progress onwards with each of these levels. And for the most part, these are very easy enemy types to deal with, especially in this game, because in most Mario games, you can't deal with these Boos in any other way other than just look at them and hopefully they'll leave you alone. However, in this Mario game, the Boos themselves, these ghosts, are actually platforming challenges. Yes, you heard right. How are they platforming challenges? Well, basically whenever you chuck a yarn ball at one of these Boos, they transform into a balloon. They will float on up when they're covered up in yarn. So what we need to do is actually do a lot of puzzles in regards to luring the Boos to very specific locations to chuck a ball of yarn into their face in order to ride them up into the heavens above in order to progress and collect collectibles in each of these stages, which honestly I like it. I think it's a really smart idea. It's a really interesting idea for a platforming challenge, which I can get behind. We also are introduced now as well to Boo platforms. You know, we could have been introduced to Boos and Boo platforms earlier on in the LP, but for the life of me, I don't actually remember. Bear in mind, it's been over 6 months, ladies and gentlemen, since I actually did a proper recording session last, so a lot of my knowledge and whatnot of this is a little bit iffy. The only reason I know about this stuff now is because, well, this is all footage I recorded literally just the other day. But I digress. Anyway, we are now introduced to Boo platforms, as I was saying, which they only become usable whenever you're looking away from them. So they basically act like Boos, but they're platforms. So you have to chuck the yarn ball at the wall to bounce it off the wall, ricochet, do a 360 triple axel backflip, hardcore parkour, and cause the yarn ball to boop the platform whenever you're not looking at it. Which I actually really do enjoy. I really do think it's a great level design mechanic. You know, it's a great way to change things up, you know. Of course, being a ghost level, being a typical ghost house in Mario fashion, we do have to deal with a lot of invisible walls. We have to deal with a lot of hidden areas in order to find the correct way to progress, which is honestly, it's not too bad, you know. Especially if you have the view hidden items power badge that I always use, because basically any walls you can walk through, they're highlighted in just a bit more of a brighter color than everything else, which makes things a bit easier to find. Which I like, you know. If basically whenever you're playing this game, you should always basically have this power on, this power badge on, unless of course you want to do a challenge run or something, or challenge yourself to find things yourself. But honestly, my biggest recommendation is to use this power badge whenever you're personally playing the game. At least when I play the game, I always have this on, because it makes collecting things so much easier, it makes finding things so much more funner. Funner? Is that a word? Funner? And for the most part, I don't think it's too distracting, especially with the hidden walls, actually, because it's only in levels like this that I actually notice the hidden walls. Because in the most normal levels of the game, whenever there's a hidden wall that's slightly glowing in comparison to the rest of the level, because the art style and color scheme is so vibrant, so bright, I can't actually notice. I don't notice the hidden wall because it just blends in with everything else. However, in these levels, because everything's a little bit more darker, everything's a little bit like, you know, like it's dark purples, dark blues, those colors are being used everywhere here. I find it easier to actually just see the walls, because when they glow, the little light white thing they glow, it just pops out so much. So I appreciate that in this stage in particular, just because it can be a bit awkward at times. Like during the course of this playthrough, you might see me every now and then I just ignore obvious hidden walls, because at the time I was playing it, I wasn't paying attention to the wall, because as far as I'm concerned, hidden wall is a hidden wall, you know. I don't notice it. Anyway, this is a neat little puzzle here that we have to manipulate using these boo platforms. What we need to do is actually bounce all the wool off the wall in a very specific way in order to gain access to one of the one of the two doorways actually. And the doorway we're going to want to go to first is actually the middle doorway, because that doesn't progress us, that just sends us into this room where the final happy flower can be located, which, you know. Also, those two question mark clouds, ignore them. They're basically just evil smiley faces out to kill you, so you can just ignore them. So yeah, take the middle room first whenever you're going through this sequence, and the top room is actually the way to progress throughout the rest of the stage. So if you want progression, if you want to move on throughout the rest of this level, just follow what I'm doing. Oh yeah, ricocheted like a boss, like a glove. You see, this is why I'm doing a let's play of this game. I am very good at angles and geometry. That's a lie. I'm awful at that sort of stuff. Like you should see me. You should have seen me when I went to school years ago. It's just, if you even came close to me with a ruler, I would freak out. You know. But I digress. But I really did like this mechanic with the using of the boos. It's a little bit finicky in this room in particular. However, just because you have three of these guys to deal with, and they tend to overlap each other, which can make using them as a platform a bit tricky. Because as you try to jump on one of the other boos that just happen to be just behind the woolified one will clip you or something. So for that reason alone, it makes this platforming sequence a little bit tricky. But for the most part, you should be fine as long as you sort of try and traverse the room in a clockwise motion. So you deal with the right side of the room first, then you start to move on to the left side, and you should, for the most part, be fine. And there we go. Bob is your uncle. It is all done and dusted. Of course, be careful in this area. This is actually the last stretch of the stage, but what you want to do is actually bounce off that angry flower in order to reach the piece of yarn. But unfortunately, oh no, why? It's very easy to mistime your jump whenever you're bouncing off it. So just be careful, and you will have to redo everything from the the room with all the doors and the boo platforms again. So just be careful when jumping off that angry face, and you should be fine for the most part to collect that last piece of wool. And there we go. The boo level is completed. Oh my. And I do believe that is the last ghost-themed level in the game as well, so we don't have to deal with that at any point past this, which is, it's either a good thing or a bad thing depending on your taste. For me, it's, I don't care. I honestly don't care. I don't mind those ghost levels in this game in particular, but in a lot of Mario games and a lot of platform games, ghost-themed levels, they usually throw me off. I usually am not a fan of them. Just due to they always tend to be very trap-filled, they're very tricky to get through and very hard to manipulate. But it's not so big a deal in this game, which I appreciate. Because, dear God, I hate those levels in like new Super Mario Bros. Games and what have you, and I shudder to think about it. Oh my god, that spooky Yoshi. Spooky is not a word for it. That thing's terrifying. I mean, look at it. It stares into your soul. I wouldn't want to wake up with that a yarn Yoshi looking like that on my desk right next to me, staring at me as I sleep. I'll freak out if I woke up next to this thing. This Yoshi's terrifying. But I digress. Anyway, this stage that's coming up is, for any keen-eyed people would actually notice the level name is actually a reference to the original Yoshi on the Super Nintendo, Super Mario World 2. What's the deal with our line food? Basically, feel fuzzy, get clingy, which, if anyone remembers the original Yoshi's Island game, the quote was actually, touch fuzzy, get dizzy. So it's a nice little play on words, I appreciate it. However, we don't have to deal with touching Unlike the original Yoshi's Island, we don't have to deal with touching things that make us dizzy in this particular stage. All we need to do is touch hold of these Velcro conveyor belts, yeah, that's the word, and we can use these in order to climb up and over and around. Basically, this is a Spider-Man level with Velcro, and I love it. My mind was blown when I first played the stage, which was actually the other day. Just because I was like, oh my god, they're using Velcro in a way like this. I wouldn't have been able to think of this. This is genius. This is a really neat idea for a stage, which I love. Like, the way that all the world and stuff clips to it and what have you, it's awesome. And the sound you make when you jump off from each of the Velcro area, just like, oh, it's so satisfying. You know, it's just really, really satisfying. I mean, listen to that. That's genius. But I digress. For the most part, though, this level is really straightforward. All of the wool pieces, all of the happy flower pieces are in... They're basically in plain sight for the most part. They're very easy to come across. They're very easy to find, which I do appreciate. However, this is a very vertical level, which means we do have to deal with a lot of vertical platforming, which in a lot of cases, it can be either the greatest type of platforming you could do, or the worst type, because it's so finicky when you do things vertically. Because if you get clipped by an enemy in the wrong place, well, you're gonna go falling down, aren't you, ladies and gentlemen? If you make too many wrong moves, you're gonna fall, and it can be frustrating for that reason. But the difficulty's not too hard. The difficulty's just right. I think it's not too hard. It's not too easy. Although for the most part, you do want to be a little bit careful, because they do chuck a lot of enemies on these conveyor belts. There's lots of spikes on the side of the walls that can hurt you, and honestly, you just need to be patient when getting through this one. If you try to rush through the level like I tend to do with almost every game I ever play, that's when you're gonna die. But if you go slowly, if you take your time, you're not gonna have much of a problem. What can I tell you? It's the only problem with being me, and because I grew up basically starting off with Sonic games, and then I went to other game series. But because I've played Sonic first, I've gone etched into my mind that whenever I'm playing a game, I need to go fast. And I'm not a speedrunner, you know. I don't do speedrunning because it's frustrating and time consuming. And Let's Plays aren't, apparently. But I'm always more of a... I like to go fast in my games, but I don't like to speedrun, you know, unless it's a game built around speedrunning, like the game Speedrunners, which is actually a really good game. I recommend it. If anyone has Steam or anything, trust me, check that game out. It's a blast of friends. And it's a blast with randoms as well, but it's more fun with friends, because then you can start swearing at each other and complaining and calling each other everything under the book. Like Carrot, for example. Why Carrot? Because I don't want to be too... This is a kid's game after all. I'm doing a Let's Play of. I don't want to be too thing with my language here. Even though I probably have swore like 3 to 4, maybe 6 times during the course of the entire LP up until this point. But that's beside the point. That is beside the point. Let's just keep moving onwards. Although this bit here is quite an annoying sequence, because this Velcro is moving really fast across the floor, so what we need to do is constantly jump while waiting for these propeller shy guys to pop up from the right hand side of the screen, in order to gain the extra height required in order to boop on up to get that piece of yarn. This section annoys me. Like, sections where I have to constantly jump in order to keep in one place, that bugs me, because my thumb gets tired, you know? I'm a lazy person. I always have been, and I probably always will be, and I don't like tapping the same button over and over and over again without any meaningful progress, you know? It's like, let me think of a good analogy here. Like, say you're playing, I don't know, Devil May Cry. What if the triangle button was how you stopped, so you had to mash the triangle button in order to stay in place, you know, instead of using the attack? That's what I'm sort of thinking of here. I don't like having to mash one button and just stay in one place, you know. It's annoying. The only instances where that could be good are in like party games like Mario Party, because let's face it, almost everything in Mario Party is either mash the button or twirl the stick. Or if you're playing on the Wii, shake the thing. What's it called? the thing, you know, the thing on the Wii. The Wii controller, you know, that thing. But, yeah. And that's probably one reason why I'm never into Mario parties that much, especially the more modern ones, but I kind of gone against the more modern Mario parties just because I prefer the way they used to be, like in Mario parties 1 to, I think, number 5, maybe 6 was the last one to do it. What? They changed it too much. It's not Mario Party anymore. It's a different game series under the same name as Mario Party. I mean, yeah, it's still a board game, technically, and yeah, it still has mini games and stuff you have to complete. But the rules are so drastically different to what they used to be. I'm just like, no, just give me my classic Mario Party experience. Hell, even Sonic Shuffle had that somewhat right, and that's... let's face it, was a pretty bad Mario Party clone. Ignoring the fact it was made by the same people who made Mario Party, but Sonic Shuffle was not a good game. I spent more hours than I probably should have on that game, though, I'll be honest. Like, if you look at my save file, I have all the mini games unlocked. I played that for probably over 200 hours, which is very bad for me to admit. Hey, what can I say? I'm a Sonic fanboy. If a game sucks, I'll still play it. I'll bitch and moan while playing it, but I'll still play it. But I digress. Anyway, the last piece of wall I want to actually highlight before we continue moving onwards. Be careful with that, because that actually tripped me up my first couple of times playing this level. It took me so long to realize I actually had to go down on that Velcro conveyor belt to eat away the wall to grab it. It's so out of the way, and it's just far enough out of the way that your hidden item thingy will not actually pick up on it, because I don't think the hidden item power badge actually picks up on like pieces of yarn that you can actually eat, like this wall that I just ate away right now, for example. I don't think the power badge affects them, which can be annoying. So finding that one piece of yarn took me a good couple of attempts. What can I say? Also, whenever you're on these vertical Velcro platforms, one thing you can also do is hold on up while pressing the jump button, and you'll actually be able to jump up quicker. It's a neat little tactic if you want to go faster. Oh, for God's sake, stop making me push the jump button. I'm sick of pushing the jump button. Ugh. Developers, good feel. This doesn't feel good. Get it, because the developer who made this game is called Good Feel, and it hurts my thumb when I have to jump like this all the time. Laugh at my jokes, I'm funny, I swear. Please. But I digress. We are now done with this stage for the most part. We are on the final stretch. So, whee! I don't know, it's so fun to go on these Velcro platforms. Like, as annoying as the mashing the jump button to stay in one place is, you know, just riding the platforms and just going from point A to point B, it's such fun. It's really good. It gives you that sense of, yeah! Radical hardcore parkour, yo! But I digress. That is it for this part. So, no need to be clingy. Thank you all for watching. Hope you all enjoyed. Don't be sheepish, people. And when we return next time, we will actually be beating the game. That's right, the next part is the finale of Woolly World. So, hope you all enjoyed, and I'll catch you all next time as we deal with Kamek and King Bowser himself. So, thanks for watching, people. Don't be sheepish. I'll see you then. Bye!